value in networking.
I like in-person dealing more now with the shows.
There was a lot of foul activity going on, and no one's talking about it.
I feel like I see less patience in the hobby today. I want to get your thoughts on that. When you hear of the large dollar amounts now around PMGs, what do you think?
What it takes for someone to spend that much money on any card.
Fanatics did something tonight I had never heard about. They have a lottery.
We got you on the line.
Oh my goodness, we're both on the line.
Hey,
I don't think that the fact that they did Be Friends and Jackass is going to have any impact on how they treat sports cards.
So I asked you, FD, since we're rolling with FD.
let's roll, man. What's up? You got to let the people know who you're rolling with, man.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Monday. Today is Monday. What's going down? It's good to see everyone. Ooh, the beginning of a new week. I guess technically yesterday was the beginning of a week, but it's good to be here. What's new and exciting in the hobby? Anybody want to talk about anything before Sam jumps on here? Anything new and exciting going on? Anybody picked up anything that they want to talk about, share, comment on? Josh, what's going on? It's good to have you here. Anybody talking about anything new under the sun? Is there anything that you're prospecting on that you want to talk about? Anything that you're prospecting on? Anything that you picked up? What do y'all think about this Cleveland trade? Picking up Spider. Any thoughts on that? I can share my thoughts. We talked about this yesterday a little bit with JD. JD is not, I think, a big fan of Donovan Mitchell. I just feel like the pickup of Donovan Mitchell is going to end up taking the basketball or some shots away from Darius Garland, maybe a few other people. I've heard some ideas about Mobley being the center of the offense, and the thought was to bring in someone that can facilitate more things around Mobley. We'll see. Your hat is freaking out with the green screen. That's my psychedelic look, man, Rick. It's a psychedelic look, man. Let's Golden State Warriors, though. Something sports cards, really diving back into soccer. Played as a child and love it. That's good. It's a good play. There's a lot of good soccer cards. I still want to pick up something soccer related before the end of the year. JD just picked up a hockey card, but Josh, you picked up a 2016 Don Robinson score. Oh, just picked up a 2016 Don Robinson score football sets. I'm a Cowboys fan, so that's a good year for me. All right, Josh. Let me know, what do you think the Cowboys are going to do this year? What are you looking for out of the Cowboys? I kind of think it's going to be more of the same. More of the same, but I don't know. I want to hear what you think. RPS is in the house. What's going on? It's good to have you here, FD. Good evening. Good evening. How are you doing? How are you all doing? It's good to have you here. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, but I think the Cowboys are going to be kind of more of the same. I could be wrong, though. I think it's interesting that they're entering the season with no backup quarterback. None at all. Says a lot. They really trust, I guess, that Dak is not going to get hurt. That may change, though. Yeah, Josh. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on your team. I just think it's going to be more of the same. It's interesting how long it's been since the Cowboys have been an elite team. That shocks me, actually, because I can remember those teams. And loving watching those teams and the amount of talent and future Hall of Famers, now who are Hall of Famers, that were on those teams. So it's interesting. Let's see here. So we've been working on some episodes of the Burbank Car Show. I hope people have enjoyed them. I think we have one or two more things to bring people pertaining to that show. It was a great show. It was cool to be there. Tried to show what we were doing and what we were trying to accomplish moving around the floor while we were there. Oh, yeah. You sound Peters for O-line help because you needed O-line help. You can't have your offensive left tackle go down like that and not go out and get someone to come in to help out. So I anticipated that. Hopefully that should help protect Dak on his on his backside. Because those left tackles for a right-handed quarterback and vice versa for a left-handed quarterback, they're essential. They're key. I mean, you can't go back to throw the ball and then somebody's on your back like that. So, yeah, but let me know in the comments what you all think. If you watch the episodes on YouTube from the Burbank Show, what do you think? I've read some good comments. Seems like the trade of the Steph Curry card for LeBron shook some people up. So we got Sam here. I'm gonna bring Sam in right quick. Sam, how you doing?
Yo.
What's going on?
Hey, man. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
I opened up my AirPod case and they're empty. And I know my daughter had my AirPods, but she's asleep in bed right now and getting ready for her first day in school.
Yeah, this
happened. I don't want to wake her up.
Oh, good. We're good. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Is the sound quality good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, any of us that have children, Sam, we all, these things happen.
So my apologies.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And this is just an open conversation tonight, too. Whatever you like to talk about, we can jump into it.
I'm happy to be back on the show, man. I've just been like lamping, just enjoying the hobby and collecting and writing and everything. And also, let me put these on. Helps me hear a little bit better. Also, I don't know, man. Lately, I've just been a fan of the hobby.
Okay.
You know, watching everybody create content, watching everybody post their cards, checking in on like different shows. So, you know, it's like it's been the best of both worlds. Like just going through my PC, thinking about different things to do to share my collection, but also just make sure I'm taking the time to like experience others, because that's what it's about. And I think sometimes we get lost in that, oh, I got to show this card, or I got to do this, I got to create this. Mm-hmm. And then we lose sight of like, wait, did I take some time to like see what others are doing? Mm-hmm. Or did I just take some time to enjoy what others are doing? So that's what I've been doing lately, man. Just enjoying the hobby, both sides for myself and just being happy for others.
That's an important aspect to talk about. We've actually been talking more here about that same thing.
Yeah.
Stepping back sometimes to just take everything in. A lot can happen in a short period of time. It's important.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I got a few. I was at the Philly card show the other day, and picked up some cards. You know, ran into some people, had some great conversations. Ran into Erica. Both our daughters were playing with each other. It was like their first time meeting, and it was just like one of those moments, man. Just to be like, yeah,
it's good.
This is what everybody say what the hobby is all about. Like, it's that right there. You know, like running into friends, looking at oh, what'd you pick up today? Looking at their cars and, you know, having that moment when you like step outside yourself just to like see them in their purity and see them like as their authentic self as a collector, seeing the things that folks like, and what drives them, and you know, I was like, yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So that's just been me in a nutshell, you know, for the past couple of weeks. Not to mention like getting ready for the school year.
When does school start?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, it's like it's one of those things like I'm excited that the school year is starting tomorrow, but I'm also feeling some type of way because like, you know, over the past couple of years, education has been like this polarizing place where people use certain buzzwords and they throw around terms like indoctrination and, you know, just dealing with like that professional stuff.
Yeah.
Makes me more appreciative of the fact that I have this space. You know what I mean? Because I can like just block out all that noise and be in my own little zone, and you know. But it's tough when you're a black man in America, especially when you're a black man working in a predominantly white suburban school district. And oftentimes I think about, man, I miss the inner city because, you know, you're in your comfort, you're around, you know, a student population that predominantly looks like you, but the staff don't, which is like weird in itself, but it's just, that's just the, you know, that's just how it is right now. Because it's not a lot of like black educators, especially when it comes to men. The national average is like 2%. And you know, most kids go throughout K to 12 without having a black teacher, let alone a black male teacher.
This is true.
So you know, it's those things that, you know, on my mind now, thinking about that professionally and getting ready for another year 13 as an educator. But you know, I persist, man. I still persist.
So we appreciate you, Claire. I'm thinking that I didn't have a Sam when I was coming through school. I did not.
Yeah.
I think the first African American teacher that that kind of built a relationship and related to, sophomore in college.
Wow.
Econ professor.
Yeah.
I took 2 of his classes,
Yeah.
and him and I built a very close relationship during my entire time in college.
It wasn't until I got kicked out of my middle school, and I went to like one of 2 it was only 2 disciplinarian schools in Philadelphia at the time. One was called Cato, that was in West Philly, and the other one was Daniel Boone. It was in North Philly on 26 and Jefferson. And my father actually went there when he was in school because he got kicked out of school, so go figure. And the moment I walked in Daniel Boone as a 7th grader, I seen nothing but teachers who look like me, especially black men. And it gave me this like warped experience about like how I should conduct myself in education, because I literally was like, oh, I need to act up in school just to have like black teachers. And you know, ultimately that led to me like getting sent to placement, being in the system, like on juvenile probation. But like you have that wake up call and say, no, these men are here for a reason, to stop me from going down that path. And I'm grateful for all the black men who were my teachers all throughout my Daniel Boone experience, going there 3 times. And on the last time I left, the principal, Mr. James, he was a black male. He was like, "Yo, I can't let you come back. You cannot come back. You gotta move on, and you gotta start doing the right thing." And I'm grateful for those experiences. And I think ultimately, like, that led me to my path and like being an educator, because FD, there's some interesting like stats. They say when any student has a black male teacher throughout their K to 12 experience, they're more than likely to graduate. I think it's like 33% more likely to graduate. The numbers increase anymore, more in terms of like going to college and getting like some post-secondary education. So like that idea of like, not only can I shape the minds of kids who look like me, I ultimately play a role in children of color, children who look like me, and then non-students of color lives in terms of like shaping their outlook and how they see the world, and being instrumental in their development socially, emotionally, and academically.
Why do you think that fact is? Let's dissect that a little bit. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that fact is true? That if a student has a person of color, a male, teaching them, that certain stats start changing. Why do you think that is?
It's a great question, and I think the thing that I think about the most, and I think about all the students I've crossed paths with, the ones who I was like extremely hard on because I had to be hard on them. They all remember like how I treated them, how I made them feel. It was like, yeah, Mr. Evans, you talk my head off about like history and everything, but I never forget how you made me feel, and I never forget like you gave me an opportunity. Like every day was a new day. You didn't hold anything against me, and I don't know. I just feel like from my vantage point, I think black men create like a real authentic experience in schools for students to just thrive and be the best versions of themselves. And even in the space that I'm in now, a predominantly white school, I see the impact that I'm having on students who don't look like me, and they literally like want to live in my office. Or even after they graduate, they want to stay in touch and say, and maintain that connection. And something I still need to continue to ponder, but I also think there's that mystique that comes with black men. When we think about America and race, the history of race in America, and how we were once described by society and depicted by society. And I often think when we are in spaces, especially like it's the education institution, there's that like intrigue, like who are you? Why are you here? And also think for a lot of people it's a culture shock, and then they also recognize that like we as black men, we're not monoliths. We don't all come from the inner city. We don't all come from single parent homes. You know what I mean? And even despite our situations across the board, we all aspire to be something great. And I think it all boils down to like who's going to see past like this, my skin color, and say, who are you? What's your why? What's your, see my potential and see what I have to offer. So
true.
I think that plays a role in it too.
Very true. We got Lovers Who Collect this, and my guys, so Roller, love you both. It's always good to have you here, Erica. To have Erica in the house.
Erica is like a quiet goat.
Mm-hmm. She is.
Yeah, but you know that's my mindset now, and it's interesting. Like, yes, I'm focusing on like getting ready for another school year, but I also like this is the time where I truly like focus on like collecting as well, and it's like this real balance because like it's definitely needed as like a form of therapy for me. You know, it's definitely something I need.
So when you went into the Philly show, what was your strategy? Like,
Say that again?
When you went into the Philly show the other day, were you open-minded about what you were looking for, or were you looking for certain things?
Oh, so you know me. I'm looking for. I'm trying to complete my '86 Flair set.
Okay.
Karl Malone, Magic Johnson, and I need like 4 sticker cards, and then I'm done. And then, you know, I started looking at my current content wave and thinking about different hobby blogs to write, and I think my next chase is probably going to be either the 61 Flair basketball set or the 79-80 Topps NHL hockey set.
Great,
so
those are great sets.
That's where I'm at right now, because I got a few of both sets, and the more I look at those 2 particular sets, I get intrigued about like all the cards that's in there, and it puts me in this space and place where I'm like, this is the moment where I speak things into existence. You know, when I got back into the hobby in the middle of a global pandemic, I had to learn the landscape. I started collecting cards that I remembered from the 90s, and then I went back to this place of intrigue when I saw my first vintage card, which was a Hank Aaron card, and you know, I started collecting a bunch of vintage cards, and then it was just also that idea of like, I'm not going to be afraid of a price tag. Obviously, I'm going to be reasonable, but I'm going to persist, and I'm going to speak things into existence. And like, you know, I got a Jordan rookie, I got a Jordan sticker. You know what I mean? When I said like, I'm going to complete this '86 Flair set.
How long has it taken you to complete the '86 Flair set?
I started that in, I want to say, towards the end of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my first 2. So how I started it, I found a Patrick Ewing '86 Flair card, and I bought it at a local hobby store. It was like at the time it was like $15, and then I saw the Isaiah Thomas, and I didn't buy it. I didn't agree with the price, but from there I won 2 packs of '86 Flair in the auction, and I opened them up, and like I was just sitting in this space that I'm in now in my basement, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be the next one. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to complete this set, and it was at the time where like the Jordan card was like blowing up. The prices were like astronomical. I think this was around the time where the first one sold for like almost $800,000 or something like that. And like all the Jordan rookie cards was like coming out of the Warworks.
Yeah.
And you know, I was just collecting and, you know, doing my normal, and then I get this message on Instagram from like this random like stranger, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna send you some '86 Flair cards." And I said, "All right, what do you want in return?" He was like, "Nah, I just think you're a thorough person and I like what you do." And then from there, you know, went full steam ahead. You know, like finding some cards that shows, then people hearing that, you know, I'm trying to complete the set, or like reach out, like, hey, I got this card for you. I'll send it to you. Like a couple of weeks ago, some guy I connected with off I can't remember his name right now. I connected with him off of Instagram because I did the Wax Museum podcast show.
Okay.
And he sent me the Patrick Ewing sticker, PSA 6, and he ain't want nothing for it. And he was like, yeah, I am building a set, and I'm looking for like random commons. And I sent him like 15 like extras that I had, you know, just for him looking out. So
that's a hobby.
You know, like I had this saying, like I created some content today, FD, on a card that like I fell in love with around the time when like Hank Aaron died, and it was the 1958 him and like Mickey Mantle, the World Series batting foes card, and I saw it at a local hobby store and I fell in love with it, and it was on consignment, and the guy, he wanted a ton of money for it. And this was like right around, this was like a week after Hank Aaron died.
Okay.
And like I had the money, but son was like, nah, just let it be. And I walked away from it. And like, you know, over the time I was like, I would like check prices, I would, you know, look it up on eBay. And a couple of weeks ago, I'm in Wisconsin at a local hobby store in Wisconsin, browsing, and there it is, PSA graded 3, beautiful center, color, everything. And I walked out the store a happy man.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And not even at the price point that I saw the raw card and what the guy wanted for. So I'm just a firm believer that like in this, the hobby is a space of like, the hobby is like limitless. Like there's nothing in this space that no one can achieve. And I think the way that you can achieve it, if like you're honest, you're pure, you take care, you know, your fellow collector, and like the most important thing is like just follow your gut and listen to your gut.
It's true.
You know, and you know, like who would ever thought like almost what a year and a half later, I'm in Wisconsin and I find that same card.
That's how it happens, man.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of those beautiful moments that like, and it was interesting too about that whole experience. Like I was out in Wisconsin for probably like almost 2 weeks because my wife was having surgery and she had a successful surgery, so all is well.
Great, that's
and
great.
I went back to the very same store and I found a Roberto Clemente 1957 PSA 5, beautiful, like gorgeous card. And I met the owner's father where it used to be his store and he gave it to his son. So we're like talking and, you know, just like, that's the great thing about like local hobby stores. And I always tell people like, go to your local hobby store. If you want to truly experience what the hobby is all about, like going to shows are great, but go to a local hobby store. That's when you're going to like get everything that the hobby has to offer. You're getting a little bit of like knowledge, history, like stories, life, everything across the board, inside the hobby, outside the hobby. And the guy sells me the card. So we do the transaction, and I walk outside the store and I check my receipt. He charged me $3.33.
Oh, really?
$3.36 for the card. And I said, wait, something's wrong. And it's like one of those moments you see somebody like they drop their wallet and it's full of money and they stay right there and you pick it up and you got a choice, right? I can say, hey, here's your wallet, or I can just like keep on walking. And like I'm waiting for my Uber and I was just like, nah, I can't let that happen like that. So I went back into the store, and I pulled the son to the side. I said, hey, look, I think your dad made a mistake because he only charged me $3 for this car, and I know it ain't $3. And he looked at me and he had the biggest smile on his face, and he was just like real appreciative of me, like coming back. Because I think there's a lot of good in this hobby, but we also got to be honest. There's a lot of like there's some dirt bags in this hobby, and I mean my hope is that if I'm if that was like an experiment and 10 people went through that, my hope is that at least 9 of the 10 would go back.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the stories and things that I heard about this space, I would probably say like 6 out of the 10 would go back. And he was like, man, I'm so thankful you did that, because like, you know, like this is his business, this is his livelihood. And he was like, I'm gonna take an extra $20 off, and I was like, no, don't worry about it. This was the price that we agreed upon. You know, I'm gonna pay the price. So it's like it's those moments that like.
Well, that's what makes the hobby the hobby. You know, that's a real story of that could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that. Same the way I know you have my shot. But it's good for people to experience truthfulness in the hobby.
Yeah.
Because it's out there.
But if you ever in Wisconsin, you got to check this store out.
Yeah, what's the name of the shop?
It's called Jeff Sports Inc.
What city in Wisconsin?
It's in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And when you go check him out, tell him I sent you there.
All right.
Yeah. Awesome guy. You know, it was interesting, like being in Wisconsin for like almost 2 weeks, and like high stressful situation because like my wife in the hospital and everything, and like, just finding something to like decompress and take my mind off of stuff, and like using a hobby, and like that was my first time ever in Wisconsin. And like you hear things about Wisconsin, like you read articles about it. They say that's the worst place for like a person of color to live. And we're in Brookfield, like 20 minutes away from like Milwaukee, in this suburb, and like I don't think I met one mean person in the whole 2 weeks I was there.
Oh, okay.
And even like walking into like the local hobby store, because sometimes, you know, you have that like thought in your mind, because I don't know any like black local hobby store owners. I've never crossed paths with somebody who like who's a person of color who owns like a brick and mortar.
I have in comics, but I have not in cards.
Say that again?
I have it with a comic book stores, but not in cards.
Yeah. So, you know, most of the times I walk in these stores, you know, majority of the time the owner is white and male, and you know, like there's that initial barrier, and you gotta like break the ice. And I'm like walking in the store. From the moment I walked in the store, the guy was like welcoming, asked me questions about where I'm from, everything. We started talking about collecting, and he told me about his whole experience collecting cards, and like it was just a dope moment. I was just like, this is why like pieces of cardboard can like help change the world in a sense, because you see like your commonalities. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just I enjoyed my time, and they got a real good like collecting scene out there, because there was a lot of like I was doing some Google searches. There was a lot of like local hobby stores like in like a 6-mile radius. And the guy was telling me, he was like, got to come to the Midwest if you want to find like rare vintage cards. And I was like, there's some truth to it because in his store he has some rare vintage basketball cards, baseball cards, hockey cards, wrestling, like you name it across the board, even like non-sports cards. You're like, what? They made cards of that?
So you saw more there from a vintage point of view than you even see in silver?
Yeah. It was dope experience across the board, and you know the icing on the cake. You know, my wife healthy.
That's good.
Successful surgery. Yeah, it was one of those things like meant to be. So you know, I'm grateful.
We got a comment from Ricky here because I just bought the Ewan and Mullen rookies from '86 Flair, and I'm fighting the urge to go after the set now. The Jordan is just out of my price range.
I wouldn't say the Jordan is out of people's price range. I think that's in my opinion. This is my opinion. I don't think the Jordan is out of anybody's price range. You just got to be willing to go on the hunt and the search, and you got to be willing to like network with your local hobby stores, build relationships, everything. Because like there was a time where I felt that way. I was like, nah, I'm never gonna get a Jordan card because it's just too expensive. And I think that card is attainable to anyone. What the thought is like, if you're that collector, like, no, I want a Jet Net 10, probably, you know what I mean, you got to be willing to spend some money. But if you just want to attain like an 86 Flair Jordan rookie, I think anybody can get it.
Yeah, I'm just looking up right now, like, what does a PSA 1 go for? Let's see here. Because I remember when ones were like $4,000. I think they're less than that now. 2,500. Yeah.
I just think sometimes when we think about the 86 Flair set, people get caught up on those like higher grade cards.
I agree.
You know, and you know, I mean, some people price their cards the way they want to price their cards because that's what they think they're worth, and by all means, you have every right to do that. But my experience collecting this 86 Flair set, I want to say out of the 132 cards plus the sticker cards, the 11 sticker cards, so we'll be talking like what's the math? I'm not a math person. I'm a
143.
143. I would say out of that 143, I want to say close to 60, the range of like 60 to 70. 70 of those cards were just given to me.
That's it.
Like literally given to me. I remember one of my good friends that I connect with on Instagram, Mark. He sent me like 20 one day because he bought a whole bunch at a flea market, and he's always hunting for cards. And he was like, "Yo, I thought of you," and he sent me 20 of them. I was like, "You want something in return?" He's like, "Nah, it's for you." You know, so that set is very attainable for anyone. It all depends on like what you want to put into the hobby and like give back to create like, I don't want to sound like cliche or like weird, but like I mean what you put into the space you'll get back. You know.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. So let me ask you this: the '84 Star card has been talked about more and more. PSA. The 84 star card
Yeah.
has been talked about more and more. PSA announced their grading at. How do you compare that to the 86 clear card? Like your personal thing.
I mean, when I first got back into the hobby, like, and this is like the education that I had to do, FD, right? Like when I was coming up, like we didn't know like that lingo, like, or like what you call like hobby knowledge. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't talking a language of like inserts, rookies, and base cards and parallels and like. I mean, like we can make the distinction that like, oh, this is different from like the 93, 94 like league leaders inserts that like everybody in my neighborhood wanted that Jordan card. You know what I mean? The scoring and steals leader card. But when I got back into the hobby, like, and learning like hobby knowledge at like 36 years old, 37 years old, it was like an education to me. And I was just like, wait, why are we saying Jordan's 86 card is rookie card and Star was making cards of him in the early 80s? Well, like all those guys in the 85 class and the 84 class, like all their rookies, like the main players and the main stars in the 86 set, they all got rookies in Star.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Mark Aguirre and all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I mean, in my opinion, I was like, the 84s is true rookie. It's the same when we talk about Mickey Mantle. Is it the Bowman or is it the Topps? In my opinion, I think it's the Bowman card. But I have a Star set. You'll like this card.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful card.
Yeah, it's very nice.
This is the first Court King set ever made by Star in '86. So I mean, I think it boils down to like people's preference. Star isn't like, they wasn't the like big company brand.
No,
you know what I mean? Like a Topps or a Flair. And for me, I'm just a collector, so I appreciate cards, and like, in my opinion, his '84 Star card is his rookie. I mean, it came out his first year in the league. They had a license with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, so I mean, if we're giving Star a hard time, then we need to go back to the 70s when Topps didn't have a license and players had to wear the jersey backwards. So are we going to say certain rookie cards from the 70s of like players that Hall of Fame players that we all love, that's not their original rookie?
I agree. I totally agree with.
I mean, my favorite rookie card that I have, and like, yeah, I love my '86 Flair Jordan, but my favorite rookie card in my entire PC has to be my Moses Malone.
Yeah, I remember you talking about Moses Malone before.
And I was at like a small show, at like one of those small shows that they have at like a mall, and I was just browsing, and I saw it, and this one's beautiful. It's like center, nice corners, because you know those cards are hard to get in good condition.
Yes, they are.
Like, another Moses Malone rookie, why not? You know, so yeah, I don't know. When people debate stuff like that, I was like, this is rookie card. You know.
whenever whenever you have, it almost seems like when you have something that's well sought after, and something else is
Like,
introduced to rival, people talk about that.
say that again.
So whenever you have something that's well sought after, and then something else enters the market to kind of rival that card,
Yeah.
then people start talking about it.
And I also like, I'm not gonna be naive and say like PSA doing that was all a business play. All it is all that was to boost the hobby, create some revenue, create some sales around that card. That was marketing. That's like marketing 101. For years you didn't want to grade that card. I can infer that SGC is doing well and everybody's going with them. And hey, we're going to start grading the star set. Because in the long game, in terms of like who holds like better weight, like PSA, everybody's still going to flock to them, even though their customer service sucked, or some people feel some type of way about their experiences. I never graded anything through PSA. The first time I ever graded something was a tobacco card, and I did it through SGC, and I loved the experience. I sent them the card, I got it back in 50 days, and I got a stack of cards right here that I'm going to send to them for grading. I will buy a PSA slab, but I wouldn't send anything to PSA. I don't know, like, I like they slabs. I just don't trust them as a customer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's your opinion. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's my opinion.
I hear other people.
PSA. I don't want people like, oh, here go a sports card collector talking bad about PSA. No, I'm not talking bad about PSA. No.
Yeah, I hear other people say their opinions about PSA, Beckett, a lot about Beckett, SGC, and other companies. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's something about SGC that I like. I just like that black background.
Mm-hmm. The tuxedo look.
Yeah, I like that. Like, I got this the other day.
Oh, that's nice. But how?
The White Howard rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful card.
And that's like an original SGC slab.
Say that again?
The slab on that is like an original SGC slab. Yeah. It's interesting.
This is something I picked up that I really like.
Oh, Shaq Autograph? Mm-hmm.
It's my first auto of a Shaq card. And then this is my newest edition right here.
Yeah, that's.
You seen this card before, F?
Mm-hmm. It's a nice Kobe card. Hard card to grade. Nice card.
Yeah. So
I'm still waiting on when this Kobe documentary is going to come out. I'm excited
yeah,
about it.
I go through these moments where, like, when I'm like thinking about content, for some reason, and I'm actually gonna write a blog about this. Like, I have this affinity for the '96 draft class.
Okay.
And like, whenever I'm like thinking about sharing cards, there's moments where I realize, like, man, I'm heavy on 1996. Like, I was like, I don't know. I just think, in my opinion, like, everybody think about that '84 class, which is, they're great, but '96.
There's a lot of players in these players.
There's like 20 people you can pick from that draft class.
Mm-hmm. A lot of players.
And say, like, yeah, they were stars on their team. They were all stars. Like, they won championships. MVPs. I don't know. That class was.
Yeah, you got Nash, you got Kobe. Everybody talks about. You got Allen Iverson, and then there's some.
Marcus Camby was the number 2 pick.
Yeah, Marcus Camby. You got Antoine Walker. That's a bunch of people you can name.
Jermaine O'Neal, Steve Nash, Lorenzen Wright.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rest in peace to him. That class was loaded. I mean, you think they better than 84?
I don't know if there's any draft class better than 84. 96 is up there. I think I personally still got to lean with 84, but 96 is up there. If they're not 1, they're 2.
So here I am asking you a question. What would your order be between LeBron was 03, 04, right?
Yep.
So 96, 03, 84.
I would say 84, 96, 03.
For me, even though everybody grew up loving Jordan, I was in that era, I would say because I collect so many 96 cards, and often I just find myself at a random show, I'm buying a lot of 96 players. I would say 96, 84, 03. Simply because of the depth of that class.
They were deep.
Super, that was a deep class. I mean, 84, the first 5 picks of that draft class, was Karl Malone the 8th pick or something like that?
I'm looking up 96 right now. Because one of my favorite players was Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
Say that again?
Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my favorite players.
Silent, we named, even when we were talking about 96, right? We named a bunch of players, and we forgot, one of, the top, he was a legit player.
He was a legit player.
You talking about, 6'9", 6'10",
Handle.
dribble, shoot, post up.
Mm-hmm. Everything you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that class was loaded, man.
Was your question on, you had a question on Ewing?
Say that again?
Did you ask about Ewing in 84?
Ewing was the following year, right?
Yeah, Ewing was following year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you imagine if Ewing would have came out early?
In today's market, he would have.
So, who do you pick? A lot. If you're Houston, do you still go with Olajuwon over Ewing?
Think about how high Sam Perkins went. Sam Perkins was the 4th pick overall.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had a pretty good career too.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Evan Willis was in that class. Michael Cage. Vern Fleming.
So
Bernard.
It was Olajuwon, Bowie,
Mike Jordan, Sam
Perkins,
Charles Barkley. Yep.
And 96 was Iverson, Candy. Who's the 3rd pick?
Sharif. Stephon Marbury. Stephon.
Who's the 4th pick?
Stephon Marbury.
Stephon Marbury, and then Ray Allen, right? Or Antoine Walker?
Yep.
Yeah. Who's winning that 5-on-5?
I think someone like Sharif will be the linchpin, probably. If he's playing top, maybe 96.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Sharif? Did he get hurt, have an injury?
Yeah, I think his knees. He had knee problems. He was almost like a Brandon Roy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Did he have a sister that played ball as well? think he had a sister that played.
Yeah, he was like a Brandon Boyd almost. Sad, very sad.
Yeah, he could definitely play.
So tell me about your Steph Curry.
Which Steph Curry?
Didn't you get a Steph Curry recently?
I bought a Steph Curry at the. I bought two, I think, but I got one at the Burbank show.
Was that a rookie?
No, that was a recent insert card. But I picked up some other Steph rookies like in the last 9 months.
Yeah. You think his rookies hard to get?
A lot of them are hard to get. It all depends on the card.
And when I say like his rookies, I'm talking about like his like tops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. It all depends on what grade you want that card in. It's a tough card to get a good grade. Yeah. And on the back, you got blue to the corners. That's always a hard card to grade. You got dark color like that. It can be tough though. Yeah. Prices have dropped on some stuff that have made it more affordable.
Say that again.
Prices have dropped on some things that have made them more affordable than they used to be.
Yeah, I've been hearing that often. Like I said, like I'm a fan. I try to be a fan of the hobby. So on my off weeks, I try to consume a lot of like hobby content, like mainly like YouTube. Like I go to Instagram and I check a lot of people out that I just love their cards, especially like art cards. Like I'm always watching your stuff on YouTube. Obviously, like Rip Pack Slab. I also check out I think it's Sports Card Show. I can't think of the guy name. I think his name is like Ziggy or something like that. He's like
Sports Card.
Yeah, he's always talking about something.
You got Ziggy right here.
Yeah, he's always talking about something. So like, I always try my best to like stay up on like what's happening or what's going on. What's the stories? I don't try to like. I don't get caught up into like the drama because I just think that's toxic. But I like more like the positive stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we try to say. I try to focus on what am I doing, and talking about strategy most of the time. We got Rome, the kid reporter's dad here, and two coats. Appreciate you being here.
What's up, Joe?
What's up?
Hold on, real quick, FD.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. Then we got Ricardo here. Ricardo says definitely understand your view on PSA. Old members prior to the pandemic lost all of our benefits.
Wow.
And, I'm happy to see that SGC and BGS have the same PSA submissions GUI on their site now. RPS is CSG all the way. The moment they were bought by Blackstone and Jay-Z, I was told as well.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Interesting. Peter always dropping knowledge, yo.
Mm-hmm. True.
Me and Peter, we be having sessions, man. We be having sessions, yo.
Roll Pro 3 says, you're my favorite card creator, and thanks for what you do and giving back. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Really do. Rome the reporter. We truly appreciate both of them. And we appreciate you too.
Rome the future.
Yeah.
Rome is going to be the future. We are. He going to have us in good hands one day.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have us in good hands one day.
I know at the man, it was a pleasure meeting you. It was the number one person on my list that I wanted to meet when I got there.
Yeah, Rome is dope. Rome is. I remember when I first met him, I was like, man, this kid is so charismatic, driven, loves cards, reminded me of myself, and I was just like, how can you not love and support that?
True.
Yeah, dope kid. Joe's the man too. Joe's very, very innovative, man. Very innovative when it comes to the hobby. His if you ever like talk to him on a live and you see his like card room, it's like a museum. Like a museum. So what's one thing you looking forward to over the next couple of weeks?
Well, we have here in the San Diego area, we have the Del Mar show coming out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good to attend, go to. I'm actually ready for sports to start back up as far as football and basketball.
Yeah.
Really basketball.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what the hobby like looks like and feels like a post-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking forward to, like the next Philly card show that's coming up in tail end of September. Just to like be in that space, do another trade night, see if I can actually pull off some trades and not have a kid come up to me and say, "Hey, you want to buy my Kobe Bryant for $1,100?" I was like,
Oh, the young people know that cards values everything.
oh yeah, they talking money.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, y'all want to do trades on trade night? He was like, no, we want to make some money. I was like, I bought some cards off some kids. I was like, I support a young entrepreneur, but my wife ain't gonna let me pay $1,100 for a Kobe. They go down like that.
Yeah, they are savvy.
Yeah.
Every trade night I go to, I'm just.
I mean, what do you think about that? You think that's good or bad?
I think just like anything, it all depends on who's explaining what to them at home.
Yeah.
Later in life, my son may want to be involved in something, talk about a trade, sell some cards, but I'm constantly going to be in the ear.
Yeah.
Really monitoring what he's doing and what is he talking about. And that is if he has an interest in cards on that level.
Yeah.
You know, if he naturally tells me that he's interested. But I'll say this, right? A lot of parents are financing this activity. This is not. Yeah.
At the Fishtown show, there was kids who had tables set up.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents was right with them.
That's right.
Those kids was hustling. They were making money.
Mm-hmm.
They
now the parents, they set them up with $3 to $5 grand to get them started.
Yeah, I was in this back and forth debate with this kid over an Ozzie Smith rookie card, and like we didn't get it done because he wouldn't budge. And then I went like 2 tables down, and I got the Ozzie rookie card, and I went back to him, and I picked up a what did I get? I picked up the C.J. McCollins rookie card.
Okay.
And he saw the Ozzie. He was like, "Oh, did you get it?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it at the table down." And he was like, "How much did you get it for?" I was like, "It's cheaper than you." And he was like, "You want to negotiate?" I was like, "I got the card now." But yeah, they be working that space, man. They be working that space, and they study all the resources that
oh yeah
they have to be successful.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't do it. I'd rather just give a card away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're into it.
My value, or like my monetary moment, is like to see the smile on the face. You know what I mean? I've given away some good cards from my PC to people. I've had people offer me money for cards, and like I turned it down. I don't know. I don't know what that would like be like for me. Like if I get a taste of like selling a card, what that would look like, and where it would take me.
I got you.
I don't know. I'm not willing to go down that pathway yet, because I like being an educator. You know?
Oh, I understand.
And you know, collecting is like my pastime, to enjoy it and not make a profit. And that's no knock to anybody who like sells cards. More power to you. And if you're a good person, a good seller, and we vibe, I'll spend some money at your booth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I did have a moment at the Fishtown show. It was me and this black guy. And I'm starting to see a lot more black people at card shows, which is dope.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Like coming out. I'm like, yes. So we're standing at this table, and he's like negotiating a card with the seller, and he was like, "I'll come back. I'm gonna walk the room a little bit. I'm gonna come back." It was a Dr. J auto rookie. It was authentic. He just got the auto grade, and it was a 10. And he's like, "I'm gonna walk the room and I'll come back." So I like stepped up to the thing, and I'm looking at some of his raw cards. And he had some good raw cards, and I asked him about the mini card of LeBron, Melo, and I think D Wade is on there.
Yep.
And like the board just flat out ignored me. He flat out ignored me, and like someone else came up, and I'm only saying this because they happen to be white, and he like went to them and like, "You need help or something?" I was like, damn, would the other guy rub you the wrong way, or like you just straight up ignored me? And I was like, "Oh, you don't want my money." I just like walked away. I was just like, that's the first time I ever experienced something like that.
Well, the more I'm in the hobby and going to card shows, there are people that you naturally gravitate to, you have conversations with, and more, those are the people I want to interact with.
Yeah.
I was just saying this at the Burbank show. There are people that you talk to, and that you know when you go and you ask a question or you inquire about something, you're gonna get some real answers. And those are the people that I'm building relationships with, and I like to deal with in the future. It's just like any other.
Yeah.
If I go into a store somewhere and the customer service is just not what I want, then I'm probably not going back in that store. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Hey, it was a weird moment for me, because like after I didn't know whether like should I say something to him or should I just keep it pushing, and like I had like this mindfulness moment come over me, like just walk away. Like literally, like I'm standing in front of him, and I'm like, "What do you want for this card?" And he's literally ignoring me. And then someone comes up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, let me help you." And I'm just like, "What?" Like I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, "Damn, did I dunk on like your son or something when I was playing basketball?"
I'm pretty sure this individual you'll see again at a future show.
I was just like, yo, what? I was like, what's that energy for on a Sunday afternoon? But it was a lesson, because like I had my daughter with me, and I told her, I said, you know, when you get older and you go into spaces that you spend your money with, if you don't feel welcome, or people aren't treating you or aren't giving you the service that you deserve, feel free to walk out.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And you can control where you want to spend your money. And I mean, she's 5 years old. She didn't understand nothing I was saying, but she was like, "Okay, Daddy." You know what I mean? She was just happy she got her LeBron Space Jam doll.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But that was an interesting moment for me.
Got a cool comment here. Facts. The kid reporter loves and thanks you for all the valuable cards you have sent Sam. Valuable monetary wise, as and more important, filled with the value of human capital.
Yeah. That's all I talk about, human capital. That's why when did I tell you this? I think I told you this when we first talked. When I first got back into the hobby, I was gonna like sell cards, and then I realized like that's just not who I am. It's like not in my nature, and I was just like, what is this space for me, and what was it for me during my first hobby run? And I think you and I talked about this on the phone that day.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was all about those connections and those moments. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, this is about the human capital, and you know, from there, you know, that's what it's been. You know, ever since.
I think that's what's so cool about the hobby is that you have. There's so many different aspects of it for everyone. I think people can find what really interests them and then spend their time there.
Facts.
I don't care how old you are, how young you are,
Yeah.
what sports you like, what sports you don't like. There's something there.
Yeah. I'm 75 cards away from 3,000 of like, and when I say that, like total giving away 3,000 cards, free cards.
Okay.
75 away from 3,000. So my goal is by the end of the year to get to 3,000. I mean, I could easily do that and just like give away a bunch of cards, but I just want it to be more meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I've been looking at some of my slabs because I don't think I've ever given away a slab because those are like deep in my PC, and I've been thinking lately about giving away one of my Kobe Bryant slabs. One of his early like year 2 Bowman cards that I have is a PSA 9. Been thinking about that. Kobe cards are like special to me. Like it's one of excitement and then like one of sadness. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
But I'm thinking about it. Now I've given away some raw Kobe cards. One of his Skybox rookies. Some of his press play rookies that I had. But I've never given away a slab, so I'm thinking about it.
Well, I wish you good luck on your. I'm giving away 75 by the end of the year. Do you give cards out to people at shows? Like you go to the.
I have. I think once or twice. And it was like one of those like in the moment it was a kid at the table and he was like with a parent but didn't get the card that he wanted, and I would like give away a pack or something that I had in my case or a card or something. But I never like document those moments. I don't know. It would seem weird to like document that or like get it on camera or like, you know what I mean? Like I've had parents say, "Oh, can we take a picture?" I was like, "Sure," but I think it was one time that I did post something about a card simply because like I wanted to express to everyone like the importance of like giving back in the hobby. Because I was at a local hobby store and there was a kid in there with his dad, and dad was a collector and kid was a collector, and the kid was like really like enjoying the hobby, but that was at the time when like prices were like through the roof for like all types of wax. Like it was like a mortgage price at that time, and I bought like 2 Kobe slabs, his tribute, Panini tribute card.
Mm-hmm.
They were graded. I bought both of them, and I gave it to the kid because he was in the store, and then I had some other cards, some raw cards in my car when he was leaving out, so I handed him some like Michael Jordans, and then I talked to his dad. I was like, I'm gonna send him some more cards, and it was the ones that he actually wanted. This was like Zion's rookie year.
Okay.
And I went home and got together like a bunch of contenders, some Zion rookies I had, and met up with his dad and like gave him some cards. And dad was like, "You gotta take a picture with my son." And like, we took pictures. But like, I think that was the only time I like shared that on social media. But other times I don't really like share the stuff.
So then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
None at all. USA Patriot cards. Has either of you guys going to be in Dallas this week? Have you been to the Dallas show?
I have not. That's on my
Neither
list
have I.
to go to experience it.
I'd like to go next year, but I won't be in Dallas this week. USA Patriot.
My goal. So I put together like a hobby New Year's like resolution list, and I achieved everything but one. I didn't go to the Nationals.
Okay.
Yeah. The only reason why I didn't go because it was like my wife decided to want to do family vacation that week. So, it's like.
Well, with the next 3 years, you got Chicago, Cleveland, back in Chicago.
So, my goal is to just experience. I just want to experience it. Like, I don't want it like in Atlantic City was like close because I'm in Philly, so I could have just drove there. But I want to go there not to buy cards. I just want to go there for the experience and the conversation.
Yeah, there were a few people I knew that came to LA to the Burbank card show. They didn't really buy. They didn't buy anything. It was more about moving around, talking to people, building relationships with folks. It was more of that.
Because like, I don't know, like I always tell people through those relationships, probably if I see you again, I'm gonna buy something from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I believe that too.
It's more like I just want to see what that space is like because this is something that's been around since my first hobby run, and I never knew anything about it. Like we wasn't talking about the Nationals in North Philly in 1991. Like we wasn't talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so like to know that like I just want to I want to see it. I want to breathe the air. I want to see what it's all about.
And you shall, sir.
Say that again.
You will. You'll be there.
Yeah. So if I don't go next year, I definitely want to go to the Cleveland one because I got some college friends who live out in Cleveland. Be a good way to like visit them and go to a card show. But Dallas is on my list, and then I think there's this like Miami card show that I've seen.
Yeah, there's a Miami show.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I would love to do that.
Yeah, Miami would be cool. So, what do you think about the upcoming basketball season? What are your thoughts? Upcoming basketball season. What do you think?
I'm looking forward to it.
So am I.
I know they better give Embiid the MVP this year.
I hope he's healthy throughout the season.
If he don't get it this year, I don't think he ever gonna get it.
I agree.
And again, like I'm not taking nothing away from Jokic. I think he's a great player, but I think he won the MVP both years solely based off of analytics. And for me, I just believe in the eye test. And I think there's a lot of things that he does better than Embiid, and I think there's a lot of things that Embiid does better than him. And I think if you put them two in a dogfight, skill for skill, I just think Embiid has the edge. Simply because there's a category that Embiid does a lot better than him, and it's rim protection.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think on the defensive end, he's Jokic is no joke though, but
no, he's got a mean. You know, one thing I do like about him, he got a mean streak in him. I've
he
never
does.
seen anyone stand up to the Morris twins. In the
And
league.
he really stood up.
And you know, I know people who talk about them. They not like, you know how like those league conversations that people have, like these not people you want to mess with. Like I remember when I first met the Junkyard Dog Jerome Williams. We were playing at Lifetime in New York at the national tournament, and like he was just telling us like all these crazy stories. And he was talking about the one person that no one messed with in the league was Tony Allen because he had hands.
Oh, Tony Allen is
disrespecting him or anything.
Yeah.
And like to a certain extent, that was like the Morris twins. They were like goons, you know what I mean? And Jokic had that mean streak. I never seen nobody like stand up to them two before.
So he stood up big time.
Yeah, I was just like,
He wanted to let people know he wasn't having it.
I was like, okay. Like,
U.S.
okay,
Patriot, the Joker ain't no joke, that's right.
And I was like, okay, Joker, I see you. I see you.
My guy DeMar bringing that heat. Let's see what DeMar does. I hope he has a great season. This is a question I had though. Brunson's stock, does his stock rise or fall in New York? I want to know, can he take the heat from the New York media?
It's what Jay say. If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. You know, and the thing that I like about Brunson, that I always liked about Brunson, two things. Like he got the NBA pedigree, you know, and there's something about Villanova guards that you just gotta love. I think Villanova guards are the toughest guards in the country. And like being from Philly and seeing Villanova like up close and personal throughout the years, and knowing the type of guards that they had in their program throughout the years, like Villanova is a small school, but it's also like a big school. And like those dudes got heart, and like they don't care if you got like Duke on your jersey.
That's true.
They gonna play. They gonna play. You know what I mean? So to be that small and compete with like blue bloods, you know, that's a part of their DNA, and I think it goes back to, you know, what happened in 1985? Yeah, 1985. You know, so I think Brunson will be fine, because you know, I think it's a great situation for him. His dad is there. You know what I mean? Like he's no stranger to like the lights. You know, like look what he did in that Dallas series where he was who was he cooking in that Dallas series? He was cooking somebody this past season. Like
he's a great player.
I mean, there was a time like he was the best player on the court, even when Lucas was on the court. Even when Luka was on the court. So, I mean, you know, we'll see. You know, New York has a way of making people or breaking people.
Very quick.
You know,
from any sport, baseball, basketball.
To this day, I wish Carmelo would have never went to New York. I wish he would have went to Chicago or something, because that changed the trajectory of his career. Because I remember there was this moment in time where there was this debate, like who's better, LeBron or Melo?
I remember that.
Obviously, LeBron has surpassed that, and it's not even a conversation. It's not even an argument. But there was this moment in time, in like a 4-year period, where people was like, Melo is better than LeBron.
I remember this conversation.
You know what I mean? Like
I used to
everybody
use
thinks
Melo
he's
playing.
MVP. Everybody felt like he was the rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He took the Denver Nuggets to the playoffs, everything. You know what I mean? So it was just like there was that conversation. Obviously, again, let me say it. LeBron has like closed the door on that. You know what I mean? But there was a moment in time where people, yeah, Melo's better than LeBron. But I just think New York was just a bad moment. Because you got to think about it. Like Amari was there, he was having a phenomenal time, and then he got hurt, and I don't know. For him to be at 28,000 points is remarkable, but also
9th all time on the small list.
Yeah, I just don't think New York was the best place for him.
Yeah, Ricardo Melo was robbed.
Yeah,
because his team went to the playoffs and Cleveland did not, right?
Yeah,
I remember this.
he definitely was robbed. I don't know. I just think Melo, when he went to New York, he lost the edge that he had when he was in Denver. Like when he was in Denver,
I mean, you go from playing games that a lot of people are not watching and scrutinizing, to every second of every game is being scrutinized.
He had like this raw. He had an edge to him when he was in Denver. He went to the glass. He rebounded. Like he did all those things that made people think like, oh yeah, he's going to have the better career than LeBron, because like he was coming off a national championship at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Like and he willed Syracuse to that national championship.
So the question I have is Melo still with the Lakers right now?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think there was a Brooklyn. I know KD was. I saw an article. KD was saying like he wants him in Brooklyn. I mean, his son is playing ball in New York right now. It would be a good fit, you know. So why not? Do you think he gets the 30? Do you think he gets the 30,000?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think he can score 2,000 points?
No. Let me see what he scored last year. Last year he had 919 points. The year before that, 924. Year before that, 895. I don't see it. He's got to play 2 more years and average. We got to play in most games, but last year he averaged 13 points a game. So he has to play 2 more years on that level. I don't see that.
No, the sweetest 2-pointer in the league. You don't think he can get it?
You see Melo playing 2 more years, averaging 13 points a game?
Yeah.
No.
In your opinion, who's the one player on that like top 15 list that should have scored 30,000 points?
Oh, let me look at this.
I already know who my person is.
I'm actually surprised Mike Jordan didn't do it, but the time off of baseball, all that ruined that. Let's see here.
No, Mike scored 30K.
No, Mike is at 20. No, Mike scored 30.
Yeah.
So who else here? I would say Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq and Shaq.
And he admitted it too in his retirement.
Are you talking about somebody who came? He has 28,596.
Yeah, he admitted it too. And you know who tried to help him and he turned it down?
Who?
Rick Barry.
What happened with his free throw shooting?
Rick Barry told him to shoot underhand free throws.
Yeah, he didn't want to do that. Yeah, I think Carmelo is right on Shaq's heels.
Yeah.
He's like 310 points behind him.
Yeah. All right, my last thought.
What you got?
See all these like NBA pyramids, right? And you see them put Moses Malone at the last tier. How do you feel?
Well, Moses Malone, I think, will always be disrespected. Kind of a quieter, I go out and handle my business kind of player. But I tell you the truth, I think him and Wilt coming out of Philly, they both don't get the respect they should and probably never will.
I mean, I almost went down a rabbit hole with somebody on Instagram because they showed this stat about like what scoring leaders were scored today because of the pace of the NBA. They had Mike up there, James Harden, like all these people like their best year. I'm like, wait, no Wilt?
Telling you, he doesn't get talked about.
This person
I think a lot of it has to do with him passing away at 56 and just not being talked about anymore.
And this person responded saying he played against like garbage men, and I'm like, when it comes to Wilt Chamberlain, people have like this revisionist history that like everybody he played against was 5'7", and that is not true. Like, he played against Kareem, he played against Russell, he played against Nate Thurman, played against a lot of good big men.
But my question is, even if he was playing against shorter players, why was no one else doing what he was doing? And that was 6'9", 6'10", 7-foot players.
Yeah.
There weren't as many as it is today, but they weren't doing what he was doing.
Here's how revisionist history a lot of like NBA fans are. Everybody think Dirk Nowitzki invented that fadeaway shot with the feet up.
I agree.
Wilt Chamberlain was shooting that same shot in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
This videotape of it in color. I was just like, so I told the boy, I was like, I'm not arguing with you. I was like, have a good night.
Another thing that hurts Will is this limited film of him playing.
Yeah.
It hurts him.
No, it definitely does. And he walked away. He walked away from the game still in his prime too.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like dwindling. He wasn't like a sorry player. Wilt purposely stopped scoring the ball. Like, he did that on purpose. And when news reporters would call him out and say he's washed up, he'll go out and score 70 the next night and grab like 30 rebounds. But
yeah, I mean, look at his entire career as far as scoring is crazy.
I mean, in my opinion, when we get back to Moses Malone, in my opinion, Moses Malone, he's a, if not top 10, top 15 player all time. And there's no way in the world he should be on the last row of the pyramid. You're talking about a dude who was the face of the league for like a 6-year period, 3-time league MVP, NBA champion, led the league in scoring for a lot of years because there was times he was the top guy in scoring.
True.
So,
but let me ask you this though. I think this is the thing. When have you seen Moses Malone doing an interview?
Say again?
When have you seen Moses Malone doing an interview?
Fo.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
He's a quiet guy. He's just a quiet guy. And I don't understand, even like Tim Duncan today. People don't talk about Tim Duncan because he's a quieter, naturally quiet guy. Doesn't mean he can't.
6-0 in NBA Finals.
Yeah, doesn't mean he can't play basketball.
Yeah.
Just doesn't want all the rah-rah and all the conversation all the time. Doesn't want to be in front of the media. Moses Malone's the same way. But I know when I was a kid, when you talked about big men, my father talked about Moses Malone, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. But it's just interesting how things go into history. When you get into the history of the game, what happens?
In my opinion, and I'm biased because I'm from Philadelphia. I still think Wilt is top 3 all time. And on some days, I tell people I put him number 1 just to make people mad. I mean,
I get it.
Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all said, if you erased all the film that was ever made in basketball history, and aliens came back and visited the Earth 1,000 years later, and they were just looking at records, Wilt Chamberlain would be the greatest basketball player
I can't argue.
And I say this to everybody. You put Wilt in any era, I think he's the best center in the league. Because it wasn't like when he was playing, the game of basketball was slow because they were scoring well over 100 points when he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
They were shooting the ball at higher percentages, I feel like, than they shoot today.
Yeah.
So I think the speed of the game wouldn't bother him. I think it would actually benefit him. You know, so. You know, the one matchup that I would love, like I think he would dominate Yao Ming. It wouldn't be a question. I think he would dominate Mutombo. I think he would dominate Ewan. The two matchups that I would love to see. I would love to see how he would do against Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, that's what I want to see.
I would love to see how he would do against Shaq.
I think he'd get Shaq.
Oh
yeah. Hakeem Olajuwon is the one that, especially in Hakeem's prime, it'd be interesting because they both play a different style of game.
Yeah. So,
and that's also a person that's never talked about enough.
Yeah. Hakeem. I was watching like this recap of the 1984 draft in like a documentary, and Houston said 100 times over, we're always picking Hakeem Olajuwon over Michael Jordan, even with the 6 finals.
I mean, people are picking Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. Most likely, if you go to a draft room, you're probably still going to pick Sam Bowie.
Yeah. Did you watch his documentary?
Sam Bowie?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
You got to watch that because they actually show the clip of how he got hurt and what changed his career in college.
What is it on? What is it on?
It was on ESPN. Because technically, he wasn't supposed to be in that 84 draft. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be in that 84 draft. He was actually supposed to leave like the previous year. But he got hurt, and he stayed the extra year.
And changed NBA history forever.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you this, if you watch film on Sam Bowie in college, he's impressive.
Oh, yeah. He was 7 foot running up and down the court like a gazelle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a PA guy. He's from Lebanon. From Lebanon, PA. He was the best player in his high school class until he met Ralph Sampson. You know, I don't think nobody was dealing with Ralph Sampson during that time. So, you know, but
I saw him 2-3 years ago here in LA. Ralph Sampson is physically. You don't see a lot of people that look like Ralph Sampson.
No.
Even today.
Yeah. It don't look like he shrank much either. His son, apparently his son was a pretty good college basketball player. I mean, he wasn't as good as his dad, but he had some good times at Minnesota.
I'll let you know when I find this documentary. Yeah. Now I'm interested to watch this.
Ralph Sampson is actually in that documentary too.
Okay.
He was actually supposed to go to Kentucky, and him and Sam Bowie was supposed to be like the Twin Towers. So, it was a good documentary. Good documentary.
It's interesting too when you look at most people forget when Akeem Olajuwon was drafted, how long it took him to become who we know when we think back on. Yeah, it took us some time. But in today's basketball, we think things are instantaneous. You hit the court, you run. It doesn't work like that for every player.
No. But we live in a microwave era
Mhm.
now. You know. You think Zion's gonna have a good year?
I hope for him he does. I still need to see a mid-range jump shot from Zion. The jump and the bounding looks cool. It's not cool over long term.
Nah, he's got a. For me, in my opinion, it's like Ben Simmons, right? Ben Simmons was so physically gifted throughout his entire career. No one made him shoot the ball because he just went downhill. And he was a great passer. And that's how I feel like Zion is his gift is also his curse because he's so physically imposing and he's such a downhill player. That's also like his detriment.
I agree.
And it was like me when I was playing college basketball and I tore my ACL. Like you go through this mental moment where it's like I was literally like, if I can't be athletic, I can't play basketball.
See, only athlete, Sam, only athlete can understand that. Yeah, I think the average person walking down the street, they don't get that.
Yeah. Because like I was the runner, I was the person who can run a Laker drill and the ball would never touch the ground. You know what I mean? I was the one flying through the air, grabbing rebounds, and I'm like, yeah, I can play with my back towards the basket and make some moves, but I make those moves all footwork and my athletic ability. You know, so.
Well, I think the same thing applies to Ja Morant as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got to change his game. He needs to watch a lot of film on John Stockton.
Yes. But will he say it?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't think so. I do not think so.
I think Ja thinks he's got it all under control right now.
He had a phenomenal year.
You can't take that from him. His athletic ability is on a whole nother level.
No.
It's just about what are you doing in year 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. He reminds me of like AI in a sense. AI was great at getting to the cup. He would drive the ball down, and I'm still impressed of like how long he sustained that because he never like worked out in the off season. He never like took care of his body.
I agree.
You know, so we'll see.
But well, Sam, you know it's always good having you on, sir.
No, I appreciate it, man. This was a nice because I was thinking about. I was like, oh man, I ain't getting no questions or nothing. I was like, I don't even know what the plan is. But I was like, oh, I know FD will make it happen.
Yeah, I thought we'd get on, have an open conversation, talk about different stuff. Yeah. Sometimes I do that with my guests when we've been on. Someone has been on before, been on 2 times. We have more of an open conversation.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody who stayed on and listened. You know, this is the new wave, consuming people's stories, experiences, and the things that we all like, our commonalities, and I'm just grateful for anyone who takes the time to see us, you know, and partake in this. So,
you know, I'm digging that hoodie you have on too.
Oh yeah, this is my shout out to Nip. If you ever in Philly, you got to go to Uncle Bobby's. It's a black owned bookstore. Mark Lamont Hill, he's a professor at Temple, and he was on like CNN a lot. He owns the store like with his like brothers, I believe, and he sells a lot of like cool, like local, like black entrepreneurs who create like shirts and hoodies
Okay.
and stuff like that. So when I saw this, I was like, I had to get it.
That's tight. Appreciate it. Well, Sam, I appreciate having you on, sir. And we'll look to have you on too. You let me know. I know we had planned this, talking about this day for a little while.
Yeah.
Let me know in the future when your schedule permits to have you back on, even before the end of the year.
All right, I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have you back.
Appreciate that, and I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, Sam. You don't know how much, bro.
Thank you, man.
Keep holding it down, bro. I know you're going to. I know you'll see Pricey, Erica bump into each other, but it's always good to talk to her, hear about you. She was telling me about your daughters playing together, and to just know Philly is in good hands. Bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know Chicago and LA is in good hands.
Yeah, we try to do what we can do. It's good. It's good to be on. You know, we've only. I feel like some things just started. You know, we've only been on maybe about a little less than a year and a half.
And congrats on 3,000 too.
Thank
man.
you, sir.
Congrats,
Thank
man.
That was the original goal that we had, and when you start stuff, you don't know how long it's going to take for you to get there.
Yeah.
You just put your head down and keep doing your thing, and it's been an evolution. To tell you the truth, on YouTube, when we first started, we were compared against a lot of people spending $20,000 a show.
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that what we do, people will start looking at and saying, these people just keep it real with what they actually do. And there's something for that. People want to see that.
I always said it's all about dignity and being your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And when we consistently take the time to nurture our dignity, dignity is an innate quality, and we all have it. And like that biological link that we have as human beings, even though sometimes we don't nurture it consistently, it's still within us, whether it's dormant or whether it's active, and you're gonna always gravitate towards your people.
I agree.
Because we all one people, and we just gotta arrive to that space and place through that thinking that we are one people, and we gotta live that. And we got some work to do, but we do that work in conversations like this. We do that work by talking about the hobby. We do that work in education. We do that work as fathers, as human beings, and for me, man, in this point in my life, I just want to be righteous. I just want to have pure intentions. I just want to hold myself accountable because I make mistakes and I know I'm not perfect. And I just want to continue to grow and be well. And focus on the things that I can control and learn from my mistakes.
I'm with that 1,000%.
And that's all we can do.
That's all we can.
Yeah.
Be ourselves. And I think my probably word to anybody, if you want to do something and you want to do it your own way, and maybe your way is not the most popular way, when you get started doing something, you keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can't worry about, well, how do I compare to so and so? People are saying I should do this. Maybe I should start. Just keep doing what you're doing, and your own personal goals are your goals. We started the channel. If we never get to 20,000 subscribers, we don't get there. But we're gonna tell a story a particular way.
Oh, most definitely. That's how I feel about the hobby experience. When I keep saying I was the one who coined that phrase, and if I'm not, then I'll give credit to whoever did it. But that's how I feel about the hobby experience. I'm gonna wear my bow ties. I'm gonna be myself. Every once in a while, I might show the North Philly in me, but I'm just gonna be who I am, and just sharing what cards mean to me.
That's what makes you Sam, man.
Yeah.
That's why when I think about talking to you, I know who I'm talking to.
Say that again.
Whenever I think about talking to you or having you on the show, I know who I'm talking to, what perspective you're going to bring. what you represent, what you want to do. I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
And that's important. It's important to have that understanding with people, because there are some people you can talk to every time you talk to them. It's a different person.
Facts. Straight facts.
Well, sir, I appreciate your time. Tell your family, everyone that I said hello, your wife, your daughter, everybody on this end says number love to them.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right.